the Roman Empire, a once mighty empire that ruled over vast territories, controlled the Mediterranean, and shaped the world as we know it today. But despite its immense power, the Roman Empire didn't last forever. Have you ever wondered what happened to such a strong and seemingly unbeatable empire? Why did it completely collapse? Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of the key reasons behind its downfall and why even the greatest empires aren't immune to collapse. 1. Economic problems. One of the main reasons for the collapse of the Roman Empire was its economic problems. For years, the empire's wealth was built on conquest and slavery. But as Rome expanded, it became harder to maintain the flow of resources and wealth. Heavy taxation, rising inflation, and a constant need to fund the military drained the economy. The empire's reliance on slave labor also stunted economic growth. When expansion slowed down, so did the availability of new slaves, and the economic system began to collapse under its own weight. People couldn't afford to pay their taxes, businesses shut down, and the wealth gap widened. 2. Military issues. The Roman military was once the strongest in the world. However, over time, the empire struggled to maintain a strong army. There were several factors at play here. First, the Roman legions were stretched thin across the vast empire. They had to defend borders that were becoming increasingly difficult to protect. The empire also faced constant invasions from various tribes and groups, including the Visigoths, Vandals, and Huns. These groups took advantage of Rome's weakened state and attacked its territories. But even more damaging was the decline in the quality of the Roman army. As the empire grew, the Roman military started recruiting soldiers from outside the empire, and many of these soldiers had no loyalty to Rome. This led to a lack of discipline and the eventual downfall of the Roman military's effectiveness. 3. Political instability. Another huge factor in the collapse of the Roman Empire was political instability. For much of its history, Rome had an efficient and powerful political system. But by the time of the empire's fall, it was in chaos. There were frequent changes in leadership, with emperors being overthrown or assassinated at an alarming rate. The empire was divided into two parts, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, which made it harder to defend against external threats. This political instability created confusion and division within the empire. People lost faith in their leaders, and as a result, they were less likely to work together for the common good. Corruption also became rampant within the government, weakening Rome from the inside. 4. Overexpansion. The Roman Empire was vast, and this massive size became one of its biggest problems. At its height, the empire spanned over 5 million square kilometers, and governing such a large area proved to be increasingly difficult. Communications and transportation were slow, and the empire's military could no longer protect all of its borders effectively. Overexpansion also drained resources. The Roman Empire had to spend more and more on defense, while at the same time, it had to keep the citizens and soldiers fed, housed, and supplied. The cost of maintaining such an empire eventually became too great for Rome to bear. 5. Decline in civic responsibility. As the empire aged, the sense of civic duty and responsibility among the Roman people began to fade. Rome was once built on the ideas of public service, loyalty, and duty. But over time, the people became more concerned with their own personal gains. The decline of civic responsibility led to a weakening of the Roman identity and sense of unity. People were less willing to contribute to the empire's well-being, and this lack of unity made it even harder for Rome to defend itself against external threats. 6. The rise of Christianity. The rise of Christianity was another factor that contributed to the fall of the Roman Empire, though it's often debated among historians how significant this factor truly was. Christianity began to spread throughout the empire, and by the time Emperor Constantine came to power, Christianity was legalized and eventually became the state religion. This shift in religious beliefs altered the cultural and social fabric of the Roman Empire. Some historians argue that this weakened the traditional Roman values, while others believe it helped create a new sense of unity. However, the rise of Christianity did contribute to the breakdown of Roman traditions and institutions. The empire was no longer unified by the old Roman polytheistic religion, and as the empire became more divided, so did the unity that had once held it together. 7. Barbarian invasions. Finally, the fall of the Western Roman Empire was largely due to barbarian invasions. The Roman Empire was once able to keep these groups at bay, but over time, the empire's weakening defenses made it easier for these invaders to push through. In 476 AD, the last Roman emperor of the West, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. This marked the official fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire, however, continued to survive for another 1,000 years as the Byzantine Empire. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and tragic events in history, the fall of the Roman Empire. You might have heard about the Roman Empire's grandeur and achievements, but what really led to its complete collapse? Was it one thing or a series of events? Was it external pressures or internal problems? We'll cover all of that in this video. And trust me, there's more to this story than you might think. So, make sure to stay tuned till the end. You'll get the full picture, and maybe even gain some lessons we can apply to today's world. Let's get into it. The Roman Empire was one of the greatest empires in human history. It was built over centuries, stretching from Britain all the way to the Middle East, covering much of Europe, Africa, and Asia. The empire was known for its military might, engineering feats, and contributions to law and governance. But despite its glory, it eventually crumbled, and the reasons behind its collapse are still a subject of much debate among historians. Let's break down some of the key reasons why the Roman Empire completely collapsed. As we've explored today, the fall of the Roman Empire was not caused by a single event or factor, but was a result of a series of intertwined issues that weakened the empire over centuries. From economic instability to military struggles, political corruption, and external invasions, the decline of Rome offers important lessons about the fragility of even the most powerful empires. What's most striking about the Roman Empire's collapse is how much its story mirrors some of the challenges we face in the modern world. Empires, nations, and organizations, whether in antiquity or today, must constantly adapt to shifting circumstances, both internal and external. The Roman Empire's inability to address its economic problems, maintain a strong and united military, and effectively govern over such a vast territory ultimately led to its undoing. Another key takeaway from Rome's downfall is the importance of unity and civic responsibility. In the empire's earlier years, the Romans were united by a common purpose and sense of civic duty. However, over time, individual interests began to overshadow collective welfare, and the empire became divided, both geographically and ideologically. As Rome lost its sense of shared identity, its capacity to respond to external threats and internal challenges weakened dramatically. This loss of cohesion, perhaps more than anything, hastened the empire's fall. The rise of Christianity also played a role in reshaping the social and cultural fabric of the empire. While some argue that Christianity weakened the traditional Roman values, others see it as an opportunity for renewal. Regardless, it became clear that the old Roman ways no longer held the same power, and the transition to new religious and social structures marked a turning point in Roman history. Finally, the role of the barbarian invasions cannot be overlooked. The pressure from these external groups exploited the internal weaknesses of the empire, and it was only a matter of time before the once mighty Roman military could no longer hold the empire together. The collapse of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD marked the end of an era, but also paved the way for new civilizations and the transformation of Europe. In the end, the fall of the Roman Empire serves as a powerful reminder how important it is to remain adaptable, unified, and forward-thinking. The rise and fall of such a mighty empire highlight the importance of learning from history so we can build a stronger future.